All right, we're losing light, and I had to turn the overhead light on because it's just nice, and I wanted to be outside. It is like 65 degrees right now. It's a little windy, but oh my gosh, to be the last day of December and to be 65 degrees, it's amazing. And I'm taking advantage of it for the fact that we're supposed to be getting really cold weather, like record cold weather next week. So I'm going to be out here for now. So bear with me with the lighting. But I wanted to talk about 2024. When I sat down to do my 2024 audit, I was thinking this has not been a very good year. Because to be honest with you, at the beginning of 2024, I had hoped that I would lose 100 pounds. Now, I didn't set that as one of my goals, and I'll explain in just a minute. But yes, I did not lose much weight at all. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty much stayed consistently the same. And so I thought it was a complete failure. But when I sat down to do my audit and think about all the changes that I've implemented this year, I realized it has been actually a successful year as far as my habit changes go. And so we're doing pretty good. Out of all the changes I attempted, only 2 were a failure. And I think I attempted 7 different changes. Yeah, so 2 out of 7 that didn't work. And we're on to figuring out why made me not be successful with that. So yeah. But I wanted to tell you about the things that I was able to make changes and stick to. And it was all because of Atomic Habits. I read that book and I decided, okay, I'm just going to make small changes, focus on one change at a time. And at the beginning of January, we made sure we were ready and we got up and we walked every single day for at least a mile. If I didn't feel like walking, I would tell myself to just go out and walk 5 minutes. If I got out there and walked 5 minutes, a lot of times I could talk myself into going to the end of the road. If I got to the end of the road, then I could tell myself to go down to the front entrance of our subdivision. So going from our house to the front entrance of our subdivision, and we had to go down this big hill and come back up it. So it was a real cardio workout. It was exactly 1 mile. So it's a strenuous mile. But most days I did it. And I did it all this year. We did switch up after summer and when we started summer break, we started doing it in the evenings instead of the mornings. And my boys and husband liked that better. And so we switched to the evenings. Now, I struggled when school started back doing that because I was so exhausted, especially at the beginning of the school year, but we have made that adjustment and we're doing okay. So, yeah, I walk a mile every day and get that movement in. Now, the other change that I made was we dialed in our breakfast. Once we realized we could walk consistently, I started focusing on just breakfast, not making any super over the top changes to my diet. And I was like, oh, we're doing good on this, because we had a smoothie that we made, and I'll share our smoothie recipe. We have it every single day, Monday through Friday. On Saturdays and Sundays, we have avocado toast, but it's with a fried egg on it, and we use sourdough bread. That's it. And we have been able to stick with those breakfast meals this whole entire year. Through the winter, spring, summer, everything. So I'm really proud of that. We implemented fermented foods, especially into our breakfast. With our Saturday and Sunday, our avocado toast, we have kombucha we usually drink with that. Our smoothies during the week has Greek yogurt in it, and I actually put kefir in mine, which is a fermented milk. My boys and husband don't like it, so I usually put mine in separately, and then I'd blend theirs together and then mix the kefir in with mine separately in a mason jar. But yeah, fermented foods. We also have sauerkraut in the evenings, just a tablespoon. And if you look for sauerkraut, I haven't made my own yet. I'd like to try to, but just haven't yet. They have you need to make sure it's in the refrigerated section, and they have it at Costco. So that's where I get mine. My kombucha comes from Costco as well. Let's see. The next thing I changed that was successful, I wrote it down. Oh, cold showers. Every day from February on, I have been taking cold showers. And if you can do that during the cold, you can do it at any point. So usually what I do is just take my normal shower and then I turn the water down to cold and I stand there anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Now, be honest, it's usually 30 seconds during the winter because it's super cold, but I'll sit there and do my count and I make sure that I get it all over the top of my head and it just runs down everywhere. So that has really been a good habit change for me. I really like the cold showers. It makes me feel better. I actually feel warmer during the winter after I get done with my cold shower and I get my clothes on. It's like it makes your body, it heats my body up. So I actually like it for that. So I actually feel warmer. During the summer, I love those things because it's hot here. Hot, hot, hot. The last thing that we were successful doing, and that was getting consistent sleep. And I will do a completely separate video on that because there was a lot of trial and error. There's one thing I'm still haven't dialed in quite yet, and I'll share that with you in another video. But yeah, we set up our sleep environment. We were really taking note of what was causing us to lose sleep. We had a consistent wake time and consistent bedtime, Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. No matter if it's on the weekends, we're not sleeping in. We get up at the same time we do all week long. And man, that has been a game changer because I did not realize having no sleep affected my mood so much. So we've had situations where we had to stay out late or I didn't get good sleep for some reason. It was stress at work or something like that. And I felt it. Not just the next day, probably 3 to 4 days after that. It took me quite some time to recover. So I am dogmatic when it comes to my sleep time now because that has been a real game changer for me. Now let's talk about the things that did not work. There were 2 things that I tried to implement. The first thing, I think I've dialed that in and I think I figured out what's going to help me be successful in the new year with this one is drinking more water. I'm a Georgia girl. And I have an addiction to Coke and sweet tea. I have quit sweet tea. I do unsweet tea now, so that is great. But I just couldn't kick my Coke habit. I would go probably a month or 2, and as soon as I had one, I'd start right back up. It's almost like when I used to smoke, and I'm a former smoker. It was like you just had one and then you spiral out of control. And that's what it was for me. Me quitting smoking, I think, and the stress of my old job that I no longer have now, I think is what caused me to put all this weight on. So, yeah. I just replaced my cigarettes with Cokes and food and everything else, apparently. The whole kitchen sink. Anyway, the other thing that backfired on me, and this one was bad. I did a sugar detox. It was a 30-day, can't remember his name. Anyway, I did his 30-day sugar detox, and all went great. I was able to make it 30 days. But as soon as the 30 days was over, I went on a complete binge. And I have not had a binge in a long time. And it just left me feeling so out of control with my food. And I really thought that if I did the 30-day detox, that it would get all the sugar out of my system and I wouldn't crave anything else anymore. That did not work for me. And I realized that I can't do all or nothing approach like that. It took me several months to get myself back to normal after that detox. Won't be doing that again. So let's talk about some of the changes that I will be implementing in 2025. Not making a goal to lose 100 pounds, even though I would love to do that. But I'm going to, as far as food goes, instead of doing something like a detox, I'm going to try to implement more protein. That's what I'm going to focus on first. I've already mentioned that we're doing what we're calling a no-buy year, but I've decided that it's going to be more of a situation where we have to live off a certain income, and we have decided what that is. I looked up the median income for a family of 4, and it was $72,000. So it's just over, right at 30-something thousand a year. So what I upped it from the median a little bit to where it make it easier monthly. So I said 78, which is just over what my teacher income is after almost 20 years of teaching. So we're going to try to live basically off my income with just a little bit more. And so our house is paid for, so that is about, we want to save for our next house. So we actually do a house payment anyway, even though our house is paid for. We do $1,350 a month to save for our next house. Both of our vehicles are paid for, but we pay ourselves a car payment each month. So I'll go into the details of that probably in another video, but we're going to have to really dial in for where we spend the most, I think, is right now is eating out. You know how you just like, oh, we're out, this has been a rough week. So our biggest goal this year is to cook from home 3 meals a day. Yeah. If you got any ideas, I'd love to hear it. But that's also going to help me with increase my protein so I can control how much protein I'm getting. Another goal is I want to do more calisthenics. So I'll start very slow with that. Do some weightlifting. I want to do yoga. I want to do meditation. So these are all things that I want to implement, but I'm going to take them in baby steps. What else? Journaling. That is actually the first thing I'm going to work on. Before I can tackle why I can't stick to certain things, I need to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to do a lot of journaling, and I'll take y'all along with me in some of the techniques that I'm going to try and see if they work. But yeah, those are my plans for 2025. Not a lot. Yes, I would love to lose 100 pounds, but I've got to focus on just being happy with where I'm at right now, and hopefully the weight will shed off when it's ready. I don't know. I am making those changes, healthy changes to get me there, but we'll see how it goes. But I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year's Eve. Tomorrow we'll wake up and it'll be a fresh start. Anyway, since I'm losing light out here, I'm going to go ahead and log off now. But you guys have a wonderful evening and don't stay up late, because I'm not. Bye.